Good morning everybody and welcome back to another Wolf Hunt video, and today I've decided to drop it down a few tiers. Well, all the way down actually. This is the Sd.Kfz 221, the Sd.Kfz 221. I think that's the number order you say it in. This is the scout car that I actually covered in like an upcoming content video a while ago now, about a week ago, something like that. And today we're going to be doing a review video on it. Now, I have only played one game in this vehicle, and I already feel confident enough to do a review, which is saying a lot. And in case you're wondering why have you decided to do a review video, you always do the parts and FPEs at a minimum first. That's right, I do. And I unlocked all of them in one match. So that's the way it's going to be. Okay, so stat card first. If I call it a tank, I apologise, but this car gets a 28/20mm SPZ B41 cannon. I covered this in the upcoming content video. It's a squeeze bore anti-tank rifle, which effectively means the bore diameter is wider at the breech than it is at the barrel. This is not uncommon. Most rifles and weapons of other descriptions are rifled in such a way that the bullet is slightly bigger so that it engages the rifling better. In this case though, it deliberately squeezes the bullet down to increase the pressure behind the bullet when it fires and to increase the velocity. So effectively this is just a cheaper way of making a 20mm bullet penetrate like, I don't know, 40mm for example. Turret rotation speed is 26.2 degrees per second. Don't let this fool you, this thing does not have a turret. We'll get into that in a minute. You have 10 degrees of gun depression and 20 degrees of elevation, which is very commendable indeed. A 3.5 second reload rate, which is astounding. That of course is on micro level. The armour we'll go into in a minute. You get 2 crew. This is going to this is a massive issue, but we'll get into this more easily when we get into the gameplay, because then you'll be able to see what I'm on about and why. The tank car only weighs 4 tons, which is basically nothing. Has a 66 horsepower V8 engine and goes at 72 kilometers an hour. I can fully believe this. I was doing 40, 50 kilometers an hour, well, cross country basically during the game, which you'll see. So let's get into the modifications and then we'll look at the armor. What is the first thing you see here that raises an eyebrow? There are no researchable shells for this vehicle. All you get is APCR. Now, you do have 94mm of penetration at 100 meters, which is fantastic for a 1.3 battle rating. This could almost penetrate the front of a Tiger, which is a 5.7. Just, you know, put that into perspective. The projectile only weighs 0.14 kilos though, so it weighs 140 grams. It's not a very big shell as you'd expect, but the muzzle velocity is 1400 meters per second. That's the squeeze bore rifling designed for you. At 2000 meters you have 8mm of penetration. No, not 80, 8. That's on a flat angle. At 60 degrees you have 21mm of penetration at 100 and 1mm of penetration at 2000, which is horrifically poor. APCR I am not a fan of, as most of you will know by now. It has basically no post-pen effects, and it's like poking a needle through paper. You have to hit exactly where you need to hit in order to take out a vehicle in one shot. And if you do manage to take out a vehicle in one shot, you're incredibly lucky, as far as I'm concerned. Right, so let's take a look at the armour. Oof. We have 10mm on the front here, 14.5 there where the driver sits. 14.5 there at the front. The gun shield itself is only 7mm thick. The barrel of the rifle is thicker than the gun shield that surrounds it. What does that tell you? It's 10mm thicker. God. On the sides, 8mm, 14.5 there, 8mm there. The gun breech is actually thicker than the plate that covers it. No surprise there. That's 300mm, is it? Right, I think that may be a bug, but yeah, whatever, we'll move on. 8mm there, on the rear, 8mm. This thing will get destroyed by basically any aircraft, whether it's flying ground mounts or not, especially as you're open topped. The wheels are 2mm thick, how lovely. So we have the V8 engine in the rear with fuel tanks either side of it, and a radiator there, which kind of, I suppose, could protect the crew. And we have the driver sat at the front, the commander slash gunner slash loader sat in the back in this area here where the gun is, obviously, and the ammunition stowed below his feet. This thing is four-wheel drive and actually handles a lot better than the Sd.Kfz 234 does, because it's only two-wheel steering rather than being all-wheel steering, so it doesn't squirrel about all over the place at high speed, which has caused me issues before. Let's just have a quick look at the camouflage patterns. Winter there, very nice, as if the Germans have just chucked some white paint over the top of the grey paint. Desert camo, should you want to do Africa core, and winter camo with lines, which I actually really like. I don't know why this isn't a more popular camo. I think the Tiger 1 has got a new winter camo, which I really like, but it's one of the ones you have to buy, so don't be expecting me to be getting that anytime soon. Also, as this is not relating to the vehicle, but I always put the Balkan quoits. Oh no, it's working now. Right, okay, so let's have that. If it's going to work. There. Splendid. That was bugged earlier when I tried doing it. It wouldn't let me place it. This decal is still bugged, by the way. It's been bugged for ages. I've been going on about it for months at this point, and Gaijin is yet to finish it or fix it. There we go. Excellent. Right, so with that out of the way, let's jump into the gameplay, shall we? So here we are with the gameplay footage for this video, and we are on the jungle map. I'm of course going around the normal flanking route all the way down south, which is something I always do on this map regardless of what tier I'm at or what vehicle I'm driving, so long as it's a medium or a light tank anyway, or a really mobile heavy tank. Now, I mentioned at the garage that there's a bit of an issue with this tank regarding the crew. Yeah, the commander is sticking his head clear over the gun shield. He is in complete full view. If anybody was to just fire a small burst of a machine, whether it doesn't matter what sort of machine gun it is, it could be a 7.62, it could be a 50 cal, it could be anything. If any vehicle or aircraft was to fire a small burst at the top of this tank, you would take out the commander, and then your tank would be destroyed because you'd lost all but one of your crew. Can you see what I'm getting at here? This thing is not supposed to take hits, period. Hence why the armour is so bad. The weight is so low, but the horsepower in comparison is really good nonetheless. 66 horsepower in a 4-ton vehicle. It is fast. It is pretty mobile. I love the grey camouflage scheme. Why we don't have more of those vehicles in the game in the German tech tree, I have absolutely no idea. The gun's rate of fire, being 3.5 seconds per reload, is utterly astounding, but that doesn't particularly fix the issue of having to fire APCR only. As you will have seen with that BT7 there, I fired 3 shots in order to take him out. The first one, all it did was take out his driver, the second one bounced, and the third one took out his tank. If I had been a little bit better at aiming, yeah, I probably could have taken him out in one shot if I'd fired at the turret ring. But of course the issue with that is he couldn't move because I'd killed his driver from the first shot, which is what gave me the clear shot for the third shot, if that rant made any sense there. I like this vehicle. I really do, but this gun, it just feels... I'll be honest. When I finished playing this match, all I had in my head was, why on earth couldn't they give us the version with the autocannon? Why? Why did we end up with the one with the squeeze bore anti-tank rifle on it? I like the fact that the rifle is unique. It's not been in any tank before as far as I'm aware. It's something entirely different, especially at low tiers. But why they felt the need to give it this gun rather than just giving it the 20mm autocannon, I don't know. I mean, the 20mm autocannon would have allowed you to actually have a turret. That's another thing now that I think about it. I mentioned in the hangar, again, that this thing does not have a turret. It does not. The gun is actually mounted to the top of the hull by like a free-floating mount, like what you'd get on a 50 caliber machine gun on the top of a tank. It's not mounted to a rotating, pivoting, swiveling ring. It's just mounted on basically a pole, which the commander in this case can move the gun freely around. Hence the free elevation text in the top left hand corner of the screen. That's not a stabilizer, that just means that the gun is able to move as you move and rotate wherever you want it to. I assume that means you could lock it in position, which in theory, if you were driving on a road with smooth surface, you could fire on the move and have the gun stay completely level because it would be locked in place. I haven't tried this myself, maybe somebody who has can let me know in the description, but it'd be cool if it worked, but I'm doubtful. If this gun was to have gotten a shell which has some sort of explosive filler, I wouldn't even, I mean a 20mm high explosive round, or a 20mm armor piercing round with an explosive filler in it, wouldn't be that great, I'll be honest. It's not as if it's a 75mm round or 50mm round or anything like that. It wouldn't have the same explosive mass as a tank shell, but it would still be better than APCR. In a vehicle this mobile and this fast, I would take having a lower penning, better shell, should you penetrate, than having a shell that can penetrate anything from the front at its battle rating, but takes 5 shots to kill anything. If you can see what I'm getting at. It would be nice to have a round that was actually effective at taking out tanks from the side. If I fire APCR into the side of a tank at this battle rating, it will pass straight through, unless I am aiming for a particular component. I can hit the engine, I could probably hit the driver, I could hit the commander, but I would not take the tank out in one shot. I'd be firing one shot at the engine to stop the tank in its tracks, another shot to take out individual crews. And I just don't like that, I've got to be honest. It just feels finicky. I don't know. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, share and subscribe for more. And comment what vehicle you'd like me to review next. I'm looking at the BF-110s at the moment, so look out for that. And I'll see you in the next War Thunder video. Cheers.